still are dominating the team award. Yesterday, they once again came in very strongly indeed. They were the fastest team on the day, 14 hours and 14 minutes. As Neil Stevens here with Jalabert on his wheel, the yellow jersey behind, Claudio Chiappucci back behind there. Looks like Ciccoli's been caught, in fact. He's back in there at the moment. So we'll have to wait and see what happened up the front, because certainly Ciccoli went away with... yeah, there are. They've got Yakimov back, and it's Breukink that's doing it now with Claudio Chiappucci on his wheel. So the position now is that Breukink is leading the main peloton up the climb with Chiappucci on his wheel. In between these two riders and the main field we're looking at, which is breaking up under the pressure, is Stephen Roche, and one man on his own. Peter de Klerk, who was part of that original breakaway group, is up there going towards the top of the second category climb, and Breukink has come back into this race with quite a brang, and so has Roche. Roche is going to pull back de Klerk then. So de Klerk then, his 3 wins last year, 1 in 1990, 4 in 89 and 3 in 88. It doesn't look like he's going to add a stage victory in the Tour de France to his list of successes, because Roche is on to him now, and the chasing group trying to form behind. Roche goes straight past. Well, de Klerk's had a long time out on his own. Roche has been in the main field, and look at the difference in the strength and speed of these two riders. Roche is going away, and over the top of this climb, there 192 kilometres have been covered. By the time they get to the top of this climb, there's just 20 kilometres from the finish. We should be able to see the banner and the board before very long. Look at this lot coming up to Breukink, absolutely motoring, and Chiappucci and Indurain. Well, Indurain isn't going to let Chiappucci get away with this one either. 1 minute 42 seconds separating those two on the general classification, and he's not going to let Chiappucci get much daylight today, I can tell you, as Fernando Escatin of the class team is bobbing up and down, just sitting in there behind him. Andy Hampston looking extremely confident to keep his third place there. Breukink's had enough. Hampston also just easing back. Andy's certainly got a grilling from the television when he won his stage, and there Bugno on the right for the fact that he wasn't normally an attacking rider. He just rode behind the wheels and took his opportunity when he came. You'd never see Hampston do like we see here with Roche until Hampston went up on that, or seldom see him until he went up on the Alpe d'Huez. So we can see the tactics here, and Indurain doing the right thing, just getting ahead of Claudio Chiappucci, and Jean-Francois Bernard's come up to help him. Well, that is great teamwork, you see. The Benestos have recognised that team leader needs help, and they're putting some men up there to help him in the chase, and to just keep the eye on some of the key men round about them. Stevens looking back to see where the green jersey's got to. That's the rider in the pink. Hampson still again just sitting on the wheel. That's the 20 kilometre to go sign. We've just been under that one. Well, what a great day it'll be if Roche can get a stage victory here. Carrera have been such a dominant team. They've been putting men up there, but Zed aren't going to let this one go. And again, coming back again, we're getting Breukink. Well, just shows you way back down there what sort of climb it is. It's one of those long, gradual ones, this second category climb. We've got 2 seconds. They grade the climbs, by the way, from Hawk category back down to first, second, third and fourth. And as this is the second category, we've only got these two. After today, we're down just into third and fourth category climbs. So it's the last chance then for the mountain goats really to show their strength. But Claudio Chiappucci's got so many points in the King of the Mountains, he'd be quite happy to just sit there and keep an eye on the little battle that's going on round about him, because in the King of the Mountains at the moment, Varenk is second, 227 points, to Ciccoli at 209. So the one that Ciccoli was trying to wind it up at the front, and I think that probably Ciccoli will like to come over here in the top 2 or 3 places behind Roche and pinch some more points back off Varenk, who's just in front of him. So what a battle we've got again today. And looking to see where Ciccoli's got to at the moment. He isn't there. Jean-Francois Bernard is leading. We got Indurain, Chiappucci behind, then Andy Hampston. Varenk rides for RMO, and again RMO are in doubt about their racing team going forward in the next year. Evidently RMO lost something like about 6 million English pounds, about 60 million francs last year in their annual turnover. They seem to have a rather bad year. There aren't many people looking for employment agencies to help them in their employment problems, because a lot of people are shedding people, not taking on extra temporary staff. So they've had a few problems, and there's question marks over the RMO team now. And the rider in the green riding for Once should be okay next year after what he's done for his team. Well, Franco Vono been going very well throughout the last 2 days. I'm looking back there, Cicciotti. And where is Veronk? Well, home on the far side. Not in contention on the King of the Mountains. Roche, meanwhile, is making the most of this little lot, hammering off down the road. We're waiting for a time check at the moment. Still hasn't come in yet. Well, I think Moseo's in difficulty at the moment. I can't see him there at all. So yet again, second down the trot, the pressure that Once put. There's Miller for TVM on the right-hand side of your screen. But the green jersey is up in front there. And certainly he's having trouble. Moseo, he's not with this group, and that looks like the last chance. Mind you, we've still got another 20 kilometres, or less than 18 kilometres to the finish yet. And this is Roche. Well, the countryside round here looks very much a bit like parts of Ireland, where the Nissan Tour has welcomed the great performances of Kelly and Roche in the past. Sean Kelly, of course, the dominant figure in the Nissan Tour of Ireland. I should be looking forward to going back there again this year. He's been a bit quiet in the Tour de France this year, Sean. He's still riding at 40th overall in general class, because he's heading towards, he rides again next year, to a record-breaking number of performances in the Tour de France, and he might well be, if he keeps it up for a couple of years, the man who's ridden more than anybody else. That just depends on whether Sean wants to go through the battering these riders have to go through, and this has been one of the hardest batterings they've ever had. It's been fast, it's been hot, it's been hard, it's been furious, and there's some very, very tired legs. A lot of riders, I think, when they come out of this tour, are going to take some time to recover from it. And when we have the San Sebastian race after the tour, that's a pretty hilly one. I think one or two riders like Ludwig, who is the leader on the World Cup, are going to find that their strength will have gone from their legs, and we might find some rather changed positions in the World Cup in terms of who's going to win once we get out into the San Sebastian. Of course, the Wincanton race in Great Britain, held up on a new course in Leeds, where a mass of people, I'm sure, will turn out, because we're going over such famous mountains as Home Moss in the north side of Leeds. There's a cracking course being found this year by Alan Rushton and Sport for Television. So the chance for British viewers to go out and have a look at them up there, and they'll get a right royal welcome from the Yorkshire people as well. Well, let's hope the weather isn't like this when we get over Home Moss. We certainly had some fog in our time over there in the past, and these just shows you some idea of the conditions these riders are riding under today. The intense heat has gone. It's still a bit humid though, because with the thunderstorms coming down to hot roads, the atmosphere is thick and sticky, and it's still very, very clammy. Roche at 30 seconds. Well, Cicciotti sitting a bit towards the back. Cicciotti, he's not moving up. I'm looking to see where the other RMO rider's gone to. As Franco Vono is the stronger at the moment as far as the GVMG boys team is concerned. Jean-Francois Bernard, and aided and abetted now by Julien Grospe. Well, their job to just keep the pace up and make life difficult for Stephen Roche out in the front. Sorry about the occasional picture breakups we're getting. It's a pretty horrible day, And of course, when you get the low clouds like that, we had our fingers crossed when we were up in the Alps for a couple of days that we didn't have bad weather, because it makes it difficult for the helicopters to fly. And two things happen. One is we don't get the good helicopter pictures that are so vital upon the mountains, but also the helicopter can't pick the signals up and beam it forward to people. So it is a problem. Now there, the yellow car, the Mavic neutral service vehicle, the gap then is definitely 30 seconds. It's going to drop in behind. It's allowed to sit in, and in case he needs any quick attention mechanically, let's hope he doesn't have a puncture or anything go wrong, but that's what they do. And we saw further down how when Fignon had his puncture that there was some pause in his rhythm, and it not only does it lose you time, it also loses you concentration in your rhythm. But Roche at the moment, who, by the way, is an absolute fearless descender. He comes down mountains just like somebody who's knocking a rock off the top, and will just go down it like a ton of bricks. He had a go yesterday to try and get the stage, dropping down in the wet, but I think his crashing became the better part of valor after he saw Pansak bouncing off the tarmac. So now 35 seconds, 1 kilometre from the top of this climb. Stephen Roche with a useful crowd of people. You can see them with their anoraks on now, and people here, a little bit chilly it is, compared with the glorious sunshine we had in the Alps when everybody was just stripped down to their shorts, and we're having a beautiful time out in the blazing sunshine. The conditions not so good, but the crowd appreciating Roche's valiant effort here, a man who did the triple, the Tour de France, the Tour of Italy, and the World Championship all in 1 year. Close indeed to the top of this climb, and the gap is growing. It was 30 seconds, then 35, now it's coming to 45. So Stephen Roche with all the courage, and he's got through this tour so far with that terribly bad back that he'd had. He was always worried that it might give him so much pain and suffering that he would be unable to finish the tour, but he's showing typical courage, guts and determination is Stephen Roche. It's good to see him back, because although he's drifted down now to 9th place, he had been up 4th, 5th, 6th and so on. He's now dropped down to 9th overall as he goes through the murky mist here on top of the mountain. This, the 1,400 Col de la Croix-Morande. It's Stephen Roche then who's going to take this climb, and under these conditions, certainly going down the other side, one man on his own stands a very good chance then of getting away. Well, you probably hear in the background the roar of the crowd, the clapping and the chanting, and they're very, very pleased to see this man. He's a very likable chap, and of course living in France now. It's Allez Lino up there on that big sign that some of the spectators brought out there, bringing their own banners. And there we are then, 20 kilometres to go. So that's the top of the climb. The banner down below, I mistook it as 20 kilometres. It's not, it's this particular one here. I'm just looking at it says 192 Ks, and we finish at 212. That's exactly right, 20 kilometres, but this is the top of the climb, so we had two banners in quick succession. And great ride by Stephen Roche. The crowd up here applauding the battling Irishman, who, despite all those injuries to his knee and the operations that he's had over the years since he crashed in the Paris 6, is showing the world that he's by no means finished, and he's going on his way to earn a few more bob in this tour this year to keep his garage of motor cars going, because he has quite a few. He sold a few recently, by the way. I think he's just down to a few, including his Porsche 911. But he's a great collector of motor cars and a great rally man as well. But when he's going rally, he said to me, what he's doing, he's not keeping a rally car now. What he does, he hires one. You can actually go and rent a rally car and go rallying, which he enjoys doing tremendously. And of course, in Ireland particularly, there's some first-class rallying roads there, particularly around the Ring of Kerry, when you spend most of your time batting the sump guard onto the road, because the roads are so rough. And this is the crowd then waiting. You can see them all well wrapped up against the conditions, and the spectators hearing over the loudspeaker from Daniel Mangas what's happening out there on the road. And you can see it here Our camera, in fact, gives you a somewhat clearer view than it is. It's a lot murkier than that, I can tell you. The one thing about television, it does clear through the fog a bit. And these riders here then have got their work cut out. The roads are damp. The cars are putting their headlights on, you can see in the background. And Stephen Roche has gone away down there at the top of the climb. The confirmation then of 45 seconds, the gap from Stephen Roche on the main field behind him. Well, I'm just seeing who's mad enough to go and chase. Lenoir, I think it is, who's mad enough to rocket off the front. And there he goes down the hill. And it was, in fact, Yvon Lenoir. And quickly chased by, yet again, Carrera jumping onto him. Giancarlo Perini has latched onto him. I don't think that he's going to persist with that. He just went up there to mark that move then. And Simon also going across. Well, look at the terrible conditions. You take your eye off the road for a moment to look back to see who's with you, and next thing you know, you've got a hairpin bend up in front of you, and through the murk. Well, Roche, as I say, is a tremendous descender. I've seen him do some fantastic descents over the years, and I think this one is playing right into his hands. And as they go down the drop here, they're going to descend from the top of the climb. And I'm just having a quick look at the calculation. I think it's just 6 kilometres up towards the finish. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 kilometres to the finish. So you've got something like about 13 kilometres downhill. And it is downhill, by the way. They're going to drop like this, all the way for 13 kilometres. And then that sharp little climb up towards the finish. Sorry about the old picture breakup, but the cameraman's still finding his way down the slope, and we're back up there with the camera waiting for the sight of the lead vehicle come in. Simon again on the front, Perini on his wheel. Well, I think he's drifting off the front a bit at the moment. There's no change really in the order of these riders at the moment. I think they're all happy just to stay in one piece coming down here and hope that nobody does what Pansac did yesterday when he upended himself and slid down on his backside with the splash coming up from his gloves and his hands as he put his hands out. That crash yesterday, you can also see how riders break the collarbones, because if you saw it, how he put his arm out to stop himself as he went down. Well, that just shows you the way in which they crack the collarbones. But Pucci on the front, he's another fearless descender. The one or two riders have got a reputation as being nutcases when it comes to rocketing down hillsides, and no doubt about it, he is one of them as well. But there's another good move as well by Indurain. He didn't let Claudio Chiappucci slip him either, so he's back on his wheel. And whoa, dear, Lenoir's quickly flicked back. Well, this is a fair old chase down the mountain. Whoops, swinging out. Well, Museo has lost out. We thought he'd lost contact with the climb. He's still not coming down on the other side either. It's anything like a great rate or not. So I think we've got to say goodbye to the man who won the Grand Prix, E3 Hallebeek, early on this year, amongst the many things that he's succeeded. Man who won the Grand Prix of Zurich last year as well, the stage in the Kellogg's. And so Museo, searching for the green jersey, is going to be out of the hunt by the looks of it today, because these riders really are motoring after Stephen Roche, who's down the mountain something like about 45 seconds ahead of this chasing group. And Simon still, though it's increasing, we must be up towards 50. I'd say there are 15 kilometres to go, and Roche is about 50 kilometres, about 50 seconds, I think, ahead at the moment. It looks like he's gaining time on the descent, Roche, despite the speed and the chase here is beginning to break up a little bit. Still Simon on the front, looking back to see who's coming down with him? Well, one man who was searching for a stage victory today, of course, was Fignon, who's also a first-class descender. We saw him in trouble on the climb up when he punctured. But the gaps are opening up. You can see that this descent, although it's all downhill, it's got enough flat in it to enable the riders to pedal at the same time. It isn't one of those sheer drops where you just go down. And here we are. We're just going to show you on a little graph here where we are. There, we're going over the top of that one, down the other side then, Le Mont d'Or at 199 kilometres. The total distance of the race today, 212 kilometres. We're out of the murkiness. There's still some bad mist and fog up ahead of these riders. As there, Jalabert, who is in the green jersey, knows now that he's seen off Mazzeo and will, I think, be searching for even more points in the green jersey. He's done a great ride here to come through Jalabert, climbed the hill extremely well. The French really are on a high. A young Pascolino rode well early in the race to keep the yellow jersey for something like 10 days. Jalabert here, although he's riding for the Spanish team Once, looks like he's going to have a really good success to add to his well-known reputation for finishing second. He could be on his way to having a green jersey. And here we are. The crowd, as ever, turned out to see these riders whiz past them. You don't get much chance of seeing them in slow motion here, I can tell you. They're straight through here. They've been going down this drop at close on 45, 50 miles an hour. Whoops. Nice wide road to allow the riders plenty of room to swing round and use all the road, and look at them coming down from behind. So although they may regroup on this part here, it's still going to be a nasty little climb up for the last 5 or 6 kilometres. Look at them go. The Tulip team is trying to get away from the chasing group that are now somewhere round about 50 seconds in arrears of Roche. It was 45 seconds at 15 kilometres, but it seems like he's getting away bit by bit, and with that 6-kilometre climb up towards the finish, it's a 5.7% climb on the way up, so it's a nasty little one to test the legs after they've been racing for well over 206 kilometres at the as it goes back up again. So that's a fair old way for these riders to climb back up towards the top of the hill. And Brian Holm trying to get a second place here, but a lot of people don't think let him get away that easily with it at all. Well, 30 seconds, it is coming down then, this superb chase from behind. Well, I was saying that at one time it was growing and then it's coming back down again. Now, has Stephen Roche sold out on this this drop down here? Stephen started the year in quite fine form. He had an 8th place in the Tirreno Adriatico. Sorry, we've lost it. We've gone back up to the foggy finish. 7th place overall in the Semaine Catalan. And Stephen then searching for a good victory. He's been... Well, the last check we got then was getting down inside the 40 seconds, so around about 30 seconds. And this is the man who's doing the damage, Brian Holm. And look at the expression on his face. Wow. One of the Danish riders, his name used to be Holm Sorensen, Brian Holm Sorensen, but he changed it to stop the confusion with the other Sorensen. And here he is with the Tulip team, this Danish rider, really coming down this hillside like a dose of salts. Well, he's a very strong rider indeed. He won the Paris-Camembert at the back end of last year. He's won the minor classics and also the Paris-Brussels as well, minor classic. So he's a sort of chap that, given an opportunity, can really begin to go some. Been around for some time now, 30 years of age, comes from Copenhagen. But as with many of these riders then living outside Denmark. And this is a slow motion look back at Simon on his chase down the the mountainside. A lot of riders still packed in there. And as yet, no reports of anybody coming to box of tricks. Well, they've caught Brian Home. We were getting some slow motion action replay while we sorted out the pictures. Well, he's now being caught, and they're just on this little bit of flatness at the bottom before they start to go up then. So there we are, Saint-Etienne, Labourboule, the first time we finished up here on this climb. It's a brand new finish as far as the tour is concerned. The last mountain top climb, if we can call it that, to finish off a stage of this nature that's this hard and this tough. And from now on in, it's going to be a lot easier as far as the riders are concerned. They're looking for, I'm quite sure, for some very fast rolling days, and the few sprinters left in the race, we'll say thank goodness this one's over and done with, because I think they're going to be looking for the flatter stages to see if they can begin to take some victory. I mean, tomorrow, for instance, there are just four fourth category climbs. There's a lot of ripping all over the place, and a nice flat finish into Mont-Lucan. And here they are. You can see the main field coming up together more or less now, and but I think they'll split on that climb. It's all a matter of judgment, you see. Other riders just came down waiting till we got to the bottom, knowing they've got that climb afterwards. The stage from Mont-Lucan to Tours, again dead flat, just two little fourth category climbs earlier on, and it runs into Tours, where we've had the Paris Tour, which has always been a sort of sprinter's speciality, and that again, I think we'll see some of the big fast men, those that are left in this race, trying to pick up some success. And I'm certain that people like Buckler and Panasonic have got to start firing their men in to see if they can get a victory, because Panasonic particularly, I think, would hope that they can pick up a victory on the flatter part. They certainly, although young Bowman's have been climbing very well indeed, I have a suspicion that Panasonic on the flat will want to put Ludwig into a position to get a stage victory. He's still in there, by the way, and we haven't seen his powerful sprint. Jalibert's been sprinting ever so well, but I think probably when we get the flatter part, providing he's contained Muzio today, that I won't say Jalibert can't beat Ludwig in a sprint, but I think the Panasonics will start to try and really rough up the Onse team, who've ridden very hard in the hillier part of the course to keep Jalibert in contention, where it's the best place for him to get lots of points. So I think we might find the flat. There we are, 40 seconds, it's gone back up again. It was down to 10, so Stephen Roche hanging on for grim death with this group behind him, and we're on the climb up toward the top, something like 6 kilometres of climbing. It goes up steadily all the way. Rooks has moved to the front, and Ladanois, I think, having another go. He's been very, very chirpy, this fellow, and Stephen Roche is here gritting his teeth, and behind him the battle for second place will be there, but right now I think that's a 5 kilometre banner we've just gone under, and Ledanois it is. So Ledanois is wedged between Roche and the main group. And still Stephen Roche climbing up ahead. Ledanois trying to come across to him. This young rider from Castorama is trying to pull back Stephen Roche. So Ledanois looks back to see what damage he's done to the group behind him, and out of the saddle. He's been very chirpy all the way through in this last 20 kilometres or so, and Stephen Roche looks like he's struggling. It is up a bit here, but all the speed has gone out of his legs. What a great shame for Stephen. He chose the right time to go, and I think he must have been struggling a bit, because on that descent I would have expected Stephen to have grabbed a few seconds, not lost a few seconds, and let's hope his legs haven't suddenly gone after that attempt to win this stage, because they're all going like crazy behind him, and this man is the one that's leading the biggest chase towards Stephen Roche. The Castorama rider then, Castorama, we keep talking about teams that are sponsored and not sponsored. At least their performances this year, when they've won a lot of events up and down Europe, they've got another year guaranteed sponsorship for the team. And here we are, you see the one of the presentation vehicles there on the left-hand side. All the fun of the fair that travels with the tour. It's a great cavalcade. The little towns are on fete at night when the tour gets there, and if you viewers at home have never seen the Tour de France, get across sometime, and trying to get to a town where there's a finish, because in the evening there's all sorts of activity going on as well, and everybody out there enjoying themselves. But make sure you either take your tent with you or your caravan, or book well ahead, because getting accommodation with about 50-mile radius of the finish of a tour every year is very difficult, because there are something in excess of 2,000 people travel with the race, actually taking part in in as journalists, officials, or part of the sponsorship crew that go with it, and the organisation as well. It's a massive event, massive number of people involved in it, and you just can't get a bed for a long way round, I can tell you, unless you book well up in advance. It has to be sorted out. And letting them up then at the 4 kilometres to go, little sign in the background saying where he's heading for. Well, the young lad who came into the professional ranks in 1990. He won an event at Clermont-Ferrand-Limoges. He comes from Noisy-le-Sec in Saint-Denis, but well known down this neck of the woods for his success on Clermont-Ferrand-Limoges. And they're coming up pretty quickly now. So the young lad who had his birthday on the 5th of July this year, when he hit 23 years of age, Alvarado Rondon now, and I'm glad to see they've let this lad go, by the way, because Rondon, who they've let go, has been a faithful domestique to Bugno, and helping Laurent Fignon as well. And many times I've looked at him, I thought this fellow could be worthy of a staged victory if he just had an opportunity, and they said to him, OK, it's your turn. And now getting towards the back end of the tour, that often happens. A very strong man who's been a good domestique, they'll give him the nod, and so Bugno with Fignon with him. If Fignon's feeling well, I've had to chase back after that puncture, and I don't feel so good now. They'll give Rondon the nod, and they'll say, OK, your turn to go. And off he goes. So he's got the nod now. The man who rode very, very strongly for Banesto as a domestique to Indurain last year, being pulled into the Gatorade Chateau Dax team now. They very much wanted him to be in there because they know how strong he is. And oh, look at the difference in style. Roche is absolutely grovelling here, and Rondon was rolling along. Mind you, Stevens further up this climb. There's one of 5.7% for the 6 kilometres, and the difference here, you can see it, can't you? Look at that. So Alvarado Rondon, I don't think, though, that he's made much progress since he had that sudden little surge. He's not got the same momentum there, and I rather think that, again, it looks like Neil Stevens for the Once team, bringing Jalabert up, who's really going to decimate Museau's chances of getting hold of that green jersey, because Stevens on the front in the pink jersey, doing what he did yesterday, riding himself into a standstill, and somehow Rondon might not get that chance he looked for so much. He's looking back now, and here Stephen Roche, the crowd really giving him every bit of encouragement. But look how that field is decimated. 131 riders started out this morning. There can't be much more than about 40 riders in that main group, as the vehicles there with the green banners across the top. They're the press cars coming in, by the way. They have different colours for different types of vehicles, and the green one indicates that it is a press vehicle, as the AGF, who help us with the radio contact with the race, giving the breaks and the times of the riders and who's in the various breaks. Then there then. Oh, 1 minute, he's gone back. I was saying he was grovelling, and all those chaps down in Ireland now be sinking their pints of Guinness and ordering another one quick and hoping they're going to celebrate a victory for Stephen. That although he was rocking a lot, he was still kept that bike going. The contrast in style between himself and Rondon was there for us all to see, but Stephen's got over the worst part of that course now, and he still has a useful 1 minute lead. Oh, is this going to be the victory he's been searching for? Stephen Roche looking up into the gloom and into the distance. He can't see the finish, but he knows he's got 2 kilometres to go. And with 1 minute, it still is very much in the balance. Roche under the 2 kilometre banner right now, and behind him still all hell let loose as the field are going to unleash themselves to see if they can catch this man. Carrera have been dominating the stage finishes so far this year, that anybody now is going to catch Roche. They've got to come rocketing out of that main field. They've had a wonderful, wonderful tour, have Carrera. Carotto took a 3rd place into Bordeaux. Bontempi won the stage into Vasqual. Chiappucci was 2nd into Brussels. Roche was 2nd into Valkenburg. Girotto of their team was third into Koblenz. Abdu Japarov, now out of the race, was second into Strasbourg. They've been up there all the way through because Roche got a third place on Saint-Etienne Blanc, and it might be that right now he's on his way towards taking a stage victory, because they had a great victory too in Siesta, and Chiappucci dominated that one. So Carrera, the most dominant team in taking first, seconds and thirds in the Tour de France, have now got Stephen Roche pedalling away at the front on this little bit of flat here. It's giving him every opportunity of putting in a better gear, flicking his legs round, a slight down, then an up, and we might see Stephen Roche setting the tongs wagging with a superb performance and showing everybody that he is back in action. He's tried so hard to win a stage in this Tour. At Valkenburg, when De Leon dropped him just going in towards the finish, he was so upset with that one, but he did try very hard indeed to win that stage, and he failed. When we're going up into Saint-Gervais-Mont-Blanc, it was Yaman again and Delgado that were riding just that bit stronger than Stephen, so he had to be content with third place. Is this going to be the victory he's been searching for? He's looking ahead in the murk and the gloom for the signs which will say he's now in towards the final part of this race. The crowd along both sides of the road applauding the gutsy Irishman, the Dubliner, who started out as a young lad delivering milk, and he said it was going up and down the tenements, taking the milk bottles up there, which gave him strength in his legs to ride a bicycle. And so the Dubliner now, with 1 kilometre to go, is, look at him gripping the handlebars here and pushing. You can almost feel every rev as he hits it down. And this 1 kilometre is going to be a backbreaker, and behind him the whole of the field are whittling away. The best gap he had was 1 minute, and they've been fetching him back bit by bit. I'm sorry about the picture breakup. We hope that we get enough of the good pictures to show that Roche is still on his way up to win this particular stage. We do have stationary cameras at the finish, so they won't have the same problem we get here with the signal going off the motorbike up into the sky to the helicopter somewhere up there in the murk, and then bouncing off in satellites to you good people at home watching this one. A man who's burst upon the scene in his phenomenal performances in the Paris-Nice. He was first way back in 1981. That's 11 years ago that he had a great performance there. That was the year following that he won the Tour of Romandy and got third in the World Championship in 1983. And now, as we were looking down through the murk to see that figure of that Irishman coming into sight then, how far down is he, and how far up is he on the crowd of the big riders coming up towards him? They'll be searching through the fog and the muck to see where the Dubliner has got to. There we can see lights coming into sight now. We haven't got any sight of Stephen. He's not got light on, I can tell you, but he's huffing and puffing, and through the murky gloom here comes a flashing light of the lead car. That's the one that comes just ahead of the whole of the race. The gendarmes there clearing the way for the riders to come through. They have no need to worry, because this time all the spectators are behind the barriers. And there he is, coming through the gloom. Stephen Roche riding his heart out here to try and win this stage into Labourboule. This is the 16th stage of the 1992 Tour de France. Roche has just got some 300 metres to go. The cars are still there, which says that the main field have not caught him. And through the gloom, the crowd here cheering on this Irishman, this battling fellow who's brought such great fame and fortune to his country by his sheer gutsiness. Roche is riding himself back into history again. He's going to take a stage once more in the Tour de France, and what a tremendous performance it's been. I'll say he's had seconds and thirds so far in the Tour this year, but this is the one he will savour the most. It's going to be a successful crossing of the line for the career rider down there in the murk. Stephen Roche winning this stage, and as he comes across the line, we'll just about pick him out down there. The clock shows he's been in the saddle now for nearly 6 hours today. Roche takes the stage, and the whole of Ireland will erupt, and the Guinness will flow in Dublin tonight. But look at the gap, how they were cutting down as coming up here looks to be about like Yakimov, or was it getting back over his shoulders there? The gap is only going to be about 20 seconds. Oh, that is extremely close. As Franco Werner looks back down behind him. They were closing up very quickly indeed, weren't they? So Garotto coming in as well. Claudio Chiappucci still in the polka dot jersey. Got alongside. There's Gert-Jan Tunis. All these riders streaming in. But they'll know right now that their chase was in vain, because Stephen Roche has won this stage, then stage 16 of the 1992 Tour de France then. Well, and Yakimov, I think it was, at just under 50 seconds. Looks like Franco Vono down there. There is Rooks, 36 kilometres per hour the time. There we can see the green jersey Jalabert, the Chiappucci in the spotted jersey. The yellow jersey of Indoran is over the line as well. See Carotto down there. See Andy Hampson's in there. So a lot of the top people for the top 3 places have made it. And so Stephen Roche, Parini was in that little group as well. His team mate as Jean-Marie Leblanc, one of the organisers of the race there, tries to move the people out of the way. Stephen looking back through the fog. Well, I've been down the Ring of Kerry when it's been like this on the Nissa, I can tell you, and I'm sure they get fog in the bay around Dublin, but this is the sort of conditions that he's revelled in. The Irishman then absolutely elated. He could hardly believe it. That is brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Oh, what a tremendous ride then for Stephen Roche. And they're trying to get these riders out the way. Laurent Fignon, unfortunately with that problem with his bike then, lost his rhythm, lost his chance of matching Roche, but Roche descended well, climbed well, and you can see the quality of the riders now after him. So confirmation coming through then that with Jalabert 5th or 6th, Yakimov was 2nd with Chiappucci in there, and here comes Laurent Fignon. Well, our heart goes out to him. Disappointing day for him having that mechanical problem, I'm sure. Seeing the Festina riders coming in there, of course, that's the team of Sean Kelly. I'm sure that Sean will be equally elated for... And... Well, there's a breathless Stephen Roche talking on the other side of my headphones. He'd been interviewed elsewhere. I just picked his voice up when he said that with 50 seconds to go he thought he'd make it, but he said something about being bombed out. I think he was. Got the explosion when he came across the line. He made it though, and here the murky conditions, the officials trying to clear the riders out of the way for the presentation to take place. I hope our cameras can pick it up and that you at home can hang on and watch the ceremony when we'll have the jersey winners up there, and of course the stage victor today, Stephen Roche, back in form, back on the victory rostrum, and Fignon with his welcome drink. Well, it's all gone green. That's the colour of the jersey that Jalabert is going to get anyway. I can tell you, down there I can see Jean-Marie Leblanc in the white shirt, and just there with the microphone on the left-hand side. If you've never seen him before, that's Daniel Menengas, the speaker of the tour, who entertains the audience at the start and then rushes to the finish so that he can put people in the picture, listening as we do to the information coming up from the race. And he has also a monitor screen like we have so that he can watch the final couple of hours of the race and put people in the picture about what's happening. And we're going back then for this action replay of the second place as Yakimov comes up here. And so Panasonic get themselves a second spot. I was saying before we got to this particular part, I thought that Ludwig would probably be in with a chance on some of the sprints, but Yakimov is his lead-out man. So there, Jalabert probably 5th or 6th, helping himself to more points on the green jersey section of the race. And Museo not scoring any points today. No, we can wait here. He does. Poor chap, he wants to get off for a shower and a massage, and they're going to wait before they come around to giving that green jersey away. There's obviously some little hiccup somewhere, and all round of applause going on. Are we going to have, yes, we are. We're going to have the presentation now. So after a little bit of delay, I think he'll need all those jerseys on too to keep him warm. It's a bit chilly in the clouds which have come down and made one of the most dramatic finishes in the Tour for some time now. In the glorious sunshine, you see him falling over on the line when it's beating down on him, but that murky conditions was a real unique one. I'm sure that's going to be shown many times in the future. And particularly if Stephen's got a video recording of it at home, I think it's one that he'll sit and savour later on, because that was fantastic, it really was. There we are. With the Carrera team again. Chiappucci was quite well up there. Two of the other ones. Garotto was there. Perini was there. So I think they stand a very good chance then with Roche's fine ride of doing even better again in the team award, where they're the dominant team at the moment, the Carrera. But Yakimov there in second spot. And the rest of the riders coming in. There we are. There we see the green jersey just behind Chiappucci. So the ceremony we've seen up on the rostrum confirmed, because nowhere back there is Moseo. Well, another of the ceremonies. All this little lot you see here, you know, it all has to be taken down and unscrambled and taken away to the next finish. And the people work through the night and drive heavy lorries down. Of course, the worst part is coming down the mountainside against all the traffic as well. There we are then, Stephen Roche. You can hardly believe it. And we're very pleased to see him up there then, stage winner in the Tour de France this time. And he is absolutely elated with that one. I'll say everybody in Dublin will be drinking his health as well. Well, he worked with me last year as co-commentator when he had that terrible problem, you may remember, in the Tour last year when he missed the call for the team time trial and was eliminated from the Tour. He's had more than his fair share of troubles, but he's a great, likeable character indeed. He's battled himself back into fitness. See how slim his cheeks are now, by the way. You can always tell when Steve's not going so well. He gets puffy cheeks and puts a bit of weight on. But my goodness, right now he's looking roaring fit, isn't he? So there he is, Stephen Roche, adding yet another success to his tremendous list, and I'm glad he's come back with a bang. We were all going to be very sorry if he had to be invalided out of the bike racing game with those knee troubles, as the Franco Vono's turn now to have a bit of a chat on the old mic as well. So Carrera really, I think, sorry, not Franco, it's Perini, isn't it? The Carrera people are doing so well in this race. I think the whole of Italy must be going bananas. Now, a lot of riders are still further on down the road, by the way, because it's been very, very fast stage indeed, as coming up there onto the presentation area, yet another polka dot jersey for Claudio Chiappucci. He took over that leader's jersey on the King of the Mountains section, the polka dot one as it's called, when on the Luxembourg-Strasbourg stage he managed to get enough points on the first real big hilly part, but he's so dominating the race now. The little seconds and thirds are so far behind him. This morning he had 386 points against Veronk's 227, so he's got like 50% more than Veronk. Yeah, that's okay. More kisses, please. Look at him. What a cheerful chappy. He'll encourage the girls to give another kiss now. Go on, he usually goes. Go on, let's have another one. Well, so he's been very used to going up there and hugging the girls and having a kiss for them as he took that spotted jersey on the 10th stage. So here we are then. The stage just finished was the 16th stage, so he's had it all the way through for 6 stages now. And that brilliant performance when he won the Saint-Gervais Mont Blanc Siesta stage gave him the convincing victory on that day, and he got so many points on the King of the Mountains that day when he romped away, reminiscent of the great rides of people like Fausto Coppi many years ago, because not many riders like to go over the mountains like he did that day. So then here we are, a lovely, lovely picture. In fact, they're just going to slow motion this one. I thought he was going backwards for a minute. They were running the tape again. There, claps his hand, claps his head, and the flashing of the lights, and that confirms there over the picture of Stephen Roche that it was Ekimov in second place, and it was Gonzaga Bombini behind him in third. Chiappucci, I thought it was Franco Vono, I beg his pardon. Chiappucci then was in fourth spot. So Jalabert in the green yet again, and still the jerseys on the shoulder of the leader in Duran. It's myself, David Duffield, saying bye-bye. Join us tomorrow for more action from the Tour de France.